yesterday, but just a thought on facing a team and an organization right now that might be second to none in terms of what they can produce and give you in terms of a matchup on a nightly basis. I mean, your guys have got to be ready to go here against this group.
Yeah, well, they got a style they play, and they stick with it, and they believe in it, and they feel at the end of the night they can wear you down, which is what happened in Calgary. Calgary had a good lead, and they just stayed with it and ended up winning the game because of it. And they have a belief in that, and that comes over time. Doesn't happen overnight, but it's trial and error, and sometimes a lot of adversity that you go through to get there, but they have that going. So they believe in a 60-minute or plus hockey game that their style and the way they play is going to wear you down. And so it's our job to make sure we don't get worn down. It's our job to also make sure that they don't get to play with the puck as much as they normally do. And so it's two teams that were a little bit contrasting styles, but both teams, when they're on top of their game, are really hard to play against.
Ken, Ryan Rashog, TSN.
I've seen you here for a month. Like, I know who you are.
Just yesterday,
you might be good at what you do now, but you were really a bad player.
That's what bad players become, is media guy. Yeah. I completely forgot what my question was now. Somebody else want to go? With Darnell Nurse, the minutes getting pushed up, 28, 29, 30 some nights. When young defensemen start to do that consistently for the first time in their career, maybe you get varying results, but what would you say about the way Darnell's game is adjusted to that caliber of minutes?
Well, I think it's on us to make sure that we evaluate it properly first, because when you play that many minutes, you're going to be at the scene of the accident sometimes because you're just playing against good players and you're playing basically every second shift. And I think, sometimes you get swept up in the mistakes, but the big picture is playing more has made him a better player. He's a better player now than he was 2 weeks ago because this type of situation with the injuries and that has put him right in the limelight of having to play all the time. So he's gone from a secondary matchup guy to a prime matchup guy. He's gone from either not playing on the power play to quarterback in the top unit. And I think he's done a great job. I think he's filled in, done a great job, and I think his game's growing because of it. So if and when we get healthy again, we're going to end up with a good player for a long time now because he knows how to play in all these situations because he's been forced to do it with the 2 or 3 injuries we've had. Good stuff for us organization-wise.
When people think Tampa, they think Stamkos, Kucherov, Hedman, and rightfully so. When you guys are preparing for them, where's Braden Point on the pecking order of dangerous players for the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they got a lot of dangerous players. To me, he's just a complete player. He just does everything well. He's on the right side of the puck. He's accountable killing penalties. He's accountable in the power play. He takes key face-offs. He matches up against the other team's top players every night, especially at home. He's just a really good player. Like, there's no holes in his game. You're not going to push him out of the competition. He's got speed, but he uses it with and without the puck. There's not many players that do that in the world right now, but he's one of them. And, he's a guy, to me, as a coach, you could just trust in every situation. And so you just know going in the game, you got a big advantage because you got a guy that's committed to both ends of the rink. It's a pretty good asset to have. And they just happen to have 3 or 4 of those guys, which is always challenging. And in some ways, it's been fun to see their team grow. This is a lot of the same players that were there 3-4 years ago, and now they've grown into this dynamic group, and they're hard to play against.
Yes, Puljujärvi, he's been up before. He's had a couple shots in the big line here and there, but you've had European guys come over before, I'm sure, many times. How important is it for them to, get the language and become a teammate and figure out all the other stuff about being a person on this team before they can succeed on the ice?
Well, it's more challenging for a Euro player that's played in Europe to come over and just play in the NHL. A lot of the European players have been able to play either college hockey or major junior, so they've got acclimated to the way things are done here. I think one of the biggest adjustments for him is just the lifestyle. And what happens is when you're not comfortable in the lifestyle, you kind of stay to yourself. And so you're worried about how you fit in, you're worried about the length of the season, you're worried about a lot of things because the intensity at this level gets amped up. And unless you've been through it before, a lot of guys just stay to themselves. And I think that's what Jesse did when he first came here. He stayed to himself. It was very reserved. And now we're starting to see his natural personality. This is his second and third goal with the hockey club. And now we're starting to see his personality come out in the room, come out on the ice, out at practice. And we're starting to see a glimpse of it in the game. But like I said before, the best part for us as coaches is that he comes to us as a very accomplished checking player. So you can trust him as a coach. Like coaches, for the most part, we don't trust skill, we trust work. And he's already got that element in his game, so he fits. But lifestyle-wise, he's starting to fit with his teammates more, and I think it's going to make him even a better player.
Aside from what you're doing with him, what do you think he can glean off Ryan Nugent-Hopkins playing on that same line and, talking to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins about being that 2-foot game? Is there something that just being on the ice with Nugent-Hopkins he can take in?
Well, I think part of the problem is everybody thinks like there's a debate. Is he going to keep up? Is he not going to keep up or whatever? I don't know how it's going to work out. But I know one thing. For the future, it's going to work out. And we might as well get him as many reps as we can, as high up the lineup as we can. Because for the future of this franchise, he's going to work out fine. Is it going to be tonight? This is a tough test. But over time, he's getting better and better and better. And the more reps we give him with good players, he gets better. And there might be some nights maybe he doesn't play there. Maybe because of competition, we have to scale him down. But he's on our team. He's an improving player. And I think it's on us, it's on me to develop that. And in the meantime, it's hard to develop it if you don't trust the player. If you don't trust his work and you don't trust his conscience, you struggle to put him on the ice. I trust him. I trust that he's going to try and do the right stuff, so he gets extra kudos from me to go out and play. And we'll see where skill-wise he ends up.
Ken, you talk about tests. What about a test for Caleb Jones tonight playing Tampa? And I guess every game he plays in the NHL is a test, but this is a little bit sterner test than some.
Yeah, well, this is a different. I mean, he's done great. I mean, he's surprised all of us, but this is a whole different animal tonight. And so we'll see. We'll get a good read on where he's at, but he's excited, a little bit amped up, to be honest with you right now. But we're looking forward to it because in the games that he's played, he's had composure in difficult settings. This is a whole different level, but we sure like what we've seen. And, without him coming in here, we could have been in a real tough spot. So he's come in and give us good minutes. He's going to get some power play time tonight on that second unit, and that's the next step for him. So we've kind of nurtured him along here, but he's going to get challenged because he's going to have to play against dynamic players tonight with the way we're set up matchup-wise.